Congratulations, Nigeria. The price of petrol per liter is now cheaper in the United States of America than in Nigeria. How do you explain that? Some people have given the excuse that it is because of the US-Israel attack on Iran, and because the global price per barrel of crude oil has increased, therefore the price per liter has to increase. But others are saying, no, it is because of poor government policies. In the same world where you have the US and Israel attacking Iran, in that same world, yes, the price per barrel of crude oil has gone up. But in that same world, the price per liter of petrol in the Gulf countries has practically remained the same. In fact, did not change except in United Arab Emirates, where there was a slight increase. In that same world, we have a situation whereby the price of petrol per liter in the United States of America is cheaper than the price of petrol in Nigeria. How do you explain that? Defenders of the Tinubu administration have argued very strongly that, even though we have Dangote refineries, the biggest single train refinery in the world, 650,000 barrels per day refining capacity, that despite having that, and despite Dangote boasting that Dangote refineries can refine all the petrol that we consume in a day, they excuse and say that no, the price of petrol still needs to go up because Dangote buys crude in international price. They argue and they say that despite the crude for oil swap or arrangement, that the naira value that Dangote pays for the crude oil per barrel is at international price rates. And they also argue that despite the crude for naira swap, that Dangote pays for shipping in dollars, and that Dangote also pays for insurance in dollars. And as a result, it doesn't matter that Dangote is supposed to be a Nigerian company, the price of petrol must still go up at such a rate that Nigerians are suffering. In the same world where you have Gulf countries maintaining their price per liter of petrol, in the same world where you have even the United States, the price is now cheaper than in Nigeria. Now, guess what? Even in the United States, despite the fact that their price is cheaper than the price in Nigeria, the US House of Representatives have pushed a bill. What is the name of that bill? Let me get the name of the bill. I'll get the name of the bill for you. Just a moment. Okay, so they call it the Gas Prices Relief Act. You can Google it. The Gas Prices Relief Act. And that act is to cushion the prices, the effect of the increase, such that the price will further go down. So despite the fact that the prices of petrol is cheaper in America than in Nigeria, despite the ongoing US-Israel attack on Iran, the US government is still pushing for subsidy so that the price that the American citizens pay at the fueling station is cheaper. How do you then explain the situation in Nigeria where the prices are very expensive? Now, let's look at it. In America, the minimum wage is $2,200 per month. Minimum wage. And that's using the national average of $7.50 per hour. Of course, you all know that in some other states, it's way higher than that. But the national average is $7.50. At that rate, the minimum wage is $2,200 per month. How much is the minimum wage in Nigeria? $50. 50 US dollars. So in two countries, one, you have minimum wage to be $2,200. The price of petrol is cheaper in that country than in a country that has crude oil in abundance and minimum wage of $50 a month. Can somebody explain that to me? If it is not failure of government policies. Government policies are more powerful than any devil in the lives of any citizen of any country. If a government policy is weak, no amount of prayer can deliver the citizens of that country. So you can pray all you want. If the policies are not right, the price of petrol will continue to increase to the extent that the Nigerian citizen, the average ones, are the ones that will be made to suffer. How do we get out of this? We can complain all we want. Complain from now till the second coming of Jesus. We can complain and scream and rant, abuse the hell out of Tinubu all we want. Nothing will change unless we change the policies of government. And how can we change the policies of government? By changing the people making that policy. As it is now, it appears that the people in government do not see reasons why they should make policies that benefit primarily the citizens, the average citizens of Nigeria. They appear to be more interested in their own pockets. And for you to change those policies to get better conditions of living for Nigerians, you have to change the people who make those policies. Starting with the House, the legislature, and the executives. The judiciary will fall in line. So how can you change the people making the policies if you do not have free and fair elections? The French people will say, "Ce n'est pas possible." It is not possible. So long as the leaders of today, the politicians, perceive, they see that the only way they can get to office or to remain in office or come back to office is by godfatherism or by rigged elections, they will never do anything to favor the people of Nigeria. They won't. So, how do you do it? We must make sure that the elections are free and fair so that the vote of the people will count. The vote of the people will count. And the only way to do that, forget all the limitations or perceived limitations of the 2026 Electoral Act. Inside that act, the ingredients for free and fair elections are available. All we need to do is to sit down and get serious. This is what some people have done with VoteWatch.pro and the PU Marshall Network. And I key into it. And I advise Nigerians to key into it. Forget every narrative that is being pushed right now that Tinubu is a master rigger. He has rigged the 2027 elections already. Oh, they rigged the 2026 FCT local council polls. No, forget all of those. With VoteWatch and the PU Marshall Network, real-time electronic transmission of results from the polling unit is a piece of cake. But there's something even more important than real-time transmission. It is real-time electronic result collation directly from the polling unit. And this is made possible with the VoteWatch Pro app, votewatch.pro. Imagine a situation whereby every citizen of Nigeria from their polling unit will wait on election day after the election is concluded and the result sheet from EC8A is properly processed. And then you get to the point where the INEC electoral presiding officer is supposed to use the beavers to snap the form EC8A and upload to IREV. Is that not where we have the contention with the Electoral Act? Some are saying it should be mandatory, it should be real time. Meanwhile, the proviso that has been put there is that, if there is no network, then INEC should resort to manual. At that point, once the results are processed, every citizen of Nigeria has the legal power to take a picture of that form EC8A. And upload that form EC8A to a parallel vote tabulation platform such as votewatch.pro. Now, votewatch.pro will take that from EC8A that is uploaded from the polling unit and automatically collate the results at a national level for presidential, at a state level for governorship, at a local government level for local council elections. It does it automatically. So immediately the results are announced at the polling unit with votewatch.pro and the PU Marshal Network, Nigerians can now see election results live in real time. Do you know the advantage of this? The gap between taking that polling unit result, the form EC8A, from the polling unit to the next or the first collation center, which is the World Collation Center. That gap, that is where the mago happens. It is because not all Nigerians are allowed access to the collation center. Nigerians may not have the benefit to see what goes on there because some politicians may also weaponize that collation and change it right in the process of collation, or use thugs, or sometimes even compromised security agents to chase out opposition collation agents from the collation center. And then sometimes you even have opposition collation agents being compromised with funds, with cash, and they turn a blind eye or look the other way. So the collation gap, that is where the risk is highest to manipulation of results. And that is the problem that votewatch.pro solves. Because you don't have to wait 3 days, 1 week for manual collated results to be displayed. A result that is then prone to manipulation. And the more or higher it goes in the collation hierarchy, the more compounded the manipulation is. But with VoteWatch, that is not a problem anymore. We can now have a situation whereby Nigerians get results directly from the polling unit. Yes, in parallel to whatever INEC does. In fact, this will now make INEC realize that they must do the right thing. It will push or put INEC on its toes to do the right thing because the people have created a platform that is independently verifiable, that is non-partisan, that displays results electronically collated directly from the polling unit. This is the way to ensure that elections are free and fair. And once we have elections that are free and fair, leaders are elected by the people. Then such leaders will do or implement policies that will benefit the people. It is those policies that can bring down the price of petrol. It can be done. Let nobody deceive you, fellow Nigerian, that, it cannot be done. It can. The NMPC group chief executive came the other day and said, thank God for Dangote. Yes, thank God for Dangote. But even with thank God for Dangote, we are still paying much higher for price of fuel per liter in Nigeria than in America. Answer me this question. Is it not possible for the NNPC to get our refineries working? You and I know one or two mechanics, local mechanics, who did not go to university, who did not even go to secondary school. They will take down the engine of a car, pieces it, ring it, assemble it back, and the engine will work. If that is happening or is possible with mechanics that didn't even go to school, how much more can we achieve with our petrochemical engineering graduates, our chemical engineering graduates, our electronics engineering graduates, our mechanical engineering graduates? How much more can we achieve with those graduates that are currently jobless if they are engaged to fix our refineries? What is there in a refinery? Fractionating column, pipes, chemicals to blend. Autant, it is easier to even get our local engineers to fix the refineries than it is to get local mechanics to ring the engine of a car and it works. It is easier. But why are they not doing it? Why will the group CEO of NNPCL come out to say Dangote, thank God for Dangote, when that same group's CEO does not engage a policy to use Nigerian engineers to fix the refineries? Why? Because the people that brought him to power is godfatherism. It is not the people. So for that policy to change, we need to make sure that leaders are brought into office by the power of the people. And that can only be guaranteed with free and fair elections through Vote Watch. I want to encourage you, register as a volunteer on the PU Marshall network. Log on to votewatch.pro. Register. Donate to this project so that we can use that fund to not only perfect the platform, but also to engage in awareness creation campaign for more Nigerians to become aware of this solution. As beautiful as it is, not many Nigerians know about it. So we have to be intentional in engaging in awareness campaign to bring it before Nigerians. So you can volunteer, you can donate, and then you can also help us to share this video so that more Nigerians can see it. Complaining, ranting, shouting, crying, engaging in campaign of calumny, campaign of smear, campaign of vilification of Tinubu and the APC will change nothing. Because these people simply don't care how much you scream. And if you protest too much, they tear gas you. But if we can sit down and use our brain in a very systematic and scientific way that does not put any Nigerian at risk of being shot with tear gas or with bullets, a scientific and systematic way that will ensure that elections are free and fair, then we can get leaders that will implement policies in the interest of the people. The price of petrol will continue to flip-flop, flip-up, and no matter how it flip-flops, Nigerians will still pay more for petrol per liter than they pay in America because of poor government policies. Click the link, register, and let us make Nigerian elections unriggable starting from right now.